I heard somebody give a speech recently on the evils of totalitarianism. It's a great speech, by the way. He did a great job. Really, really good job. And he talked about how imminent destruction comes from totalitarianism, because totalitarianism, and I think he got this from my influence a little bit, totalitarianism comes as a direct result of a nation embracing sin. Here's the funny thing about this. When totalitarianists act, they act as a result of their separation of consciousness of God, maybe through the fact that they think they are God, because that's the only way they can do it effectively. But when that happens, they bring on several elements that come to a completion. The first element that they bring is war. They bring conflict. The second element that they bring is famine, economic destruction, just like we read about in the first 4 seals of the book of Revelation. But you know the thing that happens as a result of that? Death. Do you know that in the past 100 years alone, we have seen the loss of over 100 million lives due to totalitarianism? And that does not count the almost 100 million lives lost through abortions. So let's combine the total loss of life from war, abortions, and everything else that is directly tied to totalitarian regimes that hate God. You might be, in the last 100 years, talking about a loss of 300 million people. 300 million. That's a crazy number, isn't it? It's not easy to quantify that number. According to the book of Revelation, by the time you get to the 4th seal, man has already been removed from this earth. The church gets, Christian men, right, and women. We're talking about Christians are raptured, which means there's no longer a restraining force. And you see the same old secular humanist pattern settle in. You have totalitarian rule come in through the final Antichrist. You have war that comes into play. Then you have economic collapse and failure. And you know what the end result of that is? The pale horse. And you know what the Bible tells us is going to happen on that time, during that season? 1/4 of the earth's population will die. So if you think 300 million is bad, if you think that's terrible, imagine losing 4 billion. 4 billion. Think of how ugly that is. Think of how insane that is. I don't think we understand what it's like to be in the hands of an angry God who is coming back with the vengeance that belongs to him. We got to open up our eyes, folks. Right? Jesus is coming soon. I'm beginning to not say that anymore based on one of the writings that Don made. I've changed the intensity. I don't say coming soon anymore because I think coming soon is not nearly as effective as saying Jesus can come at any second. I'm telling myself I'm not going to say that. I'm from now on going to say Jesus can come at any second. That's more imminent than soon. We got to open up our eyes.